Creators are the new professional athletes. And for you to become an elite creator, you have to take care of yourself like an elite athlete. So in this video, I'm gonna explain 4 pillars that I look at for you to be an elite creator that's taken from my time as a professional athlete. And I'm gonna show you guys how you guys can start using them today. If you don't know me, my name is JT. In 2013 to 2018, I was a professional hockey player. To go even more deep on that, I was an aux guy. I was a dude that liked to control the vibes of the room. I consider myself a glue guy. I like to bring energy up and be a very team-centric kind of player. I also really liked focusing on my training. I was a guy that loved working out. I loved eating well. I loved taking care of myself, and that was a big part of my hockey career. I finished that career, got into personal training, started doing content around fitness, ended up doing brand deals, working with the companies, and actually starting to teach them how to put out content. And then I realized, oh, the shit that I actually really like is teaching and strategy at the intersection of business and content more than I even like fitness or hockey or any of that. So I started the world's first adult TikTok house called Honey House that went from 0 to 1 million in 60 days. A lot of brands started hitting me up after that, asking if I could teach them content. And now what I do is advise companies like Super Coffee, Microsoft, Best Western, Tonal, Athletic Greens on their content, what they can do with it, and even making content for them. My channel here is for you guys. Everything that I do, I feel like is at the intersection of business and content, but my foundation is all wellness. What I'm gonna talk about in this video is gonna be something that I think is gonna help a lot of you guys, so I'm super excited for us to dive into it. So it's 2022. Content creators in the world today are becoming as common as water. Everybody and their mother is trying to get into the world of content. It makes sense because with the rise of platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, you can achieve some level of success pretty quickly. We all know examples of people like Ty Verdes, who's now popping off as an artist, using the platform of TikTok to tell his stories and then gain traction. Creators like Victoria Paris, who have daily vlogged on things like TikTok and have now built massive fan bases through doing something like that. Point of it is, you can achieve some level of success in a relatively quicker period of time now than you could have a handful of years ago due to the organic reach on some of these platforms. So it makes sense that a lot of people are trying to do it. Everybody's trying to jump on the wave. They want to get into it. With that, the flip side of it comes burnout. All of these different platforms happening at once, all of these different opportunities, people don't know how to differentiate what they should be doing and shouldn't be doing, and so they just try and do it all, and what happens when you do it all, you end up getting overwhelmed with the amount of decision making and the amount of stuff that you're doing, and then you burn out, you lose interest, you don't end up in a good place physically, and you just get tired. So that was like me. In 2019, I was creating on Instagram. I had started taking it seriously, getting brand deals, doing it to the point where I no longer needed to do personal training or other side jobs because Instagram was becoming my full-time thing. I was making enough money to where I could set all of that aside and be like, this is gonna be the thing that I do. And I had a span of a few weeks where I just wasn't creating anything. No ideas were coming to me. I was slumping, I was moping. I was like, what's going on? Playing a little bit of like the world is out to get me. Just not feeling productive. It was a physical feeling, like a physical stressor. I could feel the stress in my body weighing on me. The tension of being inconsistent with my content, the fear of starting new things in an algorithm that I didn't control, and the block of creativity that felt like I was trying to force everything to make it work. And so as I was sitting and I was thinking about my career as a professional athlete, and I'm the kind of dude where I do a lot of pattern recognition. I think about the stuff that I'm going through, and immediately I go, where is this something in my life that it might have occurred to me before? How did I deal with it then that maybe I can pull something from and deal with it now? So as I'm sitting there and I'm feeling all of this weight, I'm feeling a lot of these different things. Wait a minute, this is so similar to my career as a professional athlete. The parallels between these two things are so similar. In hockey, there's tension to go to the hard areas in a game or to put in reps in practice when things are uncomfortable. There's fear against going against different teams with different strategies that you don't control, you don't know what their strategies are. And then there's process that you have to create and trust and can't force. And so we're both in these two different careers training to adapt to stresses that we don't control and trying to move through them efficiently. And so that made me realize that every creator that wants to be elite and do this for a long period of time will need to treat themselves and take their craft seriously the same way that elite athletes are doing with their career. So let me just re-explain why my athletic background ties into this so nicely and why I truly believe that in the future, I will create training centers for creators. So like I mentioned, I was a professional athlete. I played for 5 years. If you rewind even further back to that, when I was a kid, my dad was a hockey agent who then ended up working for an NHL team in Phoenix called the Phoenix Coyotes. When we moved there, I had the fortune of always being around professional athletes. In 2019, I had the pleasure of getting to start training at a place called EXOS. EXOS is the global leader in human performance. It was started in Arizona by a dude named Mark Verstegen. In Phoenix, I got to see the original place that was called Athletes Performance. And it's not just any training facility. It's the #1 place in the world for the NFL Combine for up-and-coming college athletes to go and train to prepare for the NFL draft. They have over 1,000 NFL athletes drafted. They have 206 first-round draft picks. And it's also named as one of the most innovative companies in sports. This place is absurd. I consider it the best gym in the world. They have everything from like cold plunge and sauna to nutrition to physical therapy to mental therapy to obviously training and fitness. They have it all. And they train every major sport. They train Olympians, they train NFL, MLB, NHL, NCAA, NBA, golf, tennis, everything. We would be working out and I would be training with my hockey group, and then I would look across the room and there would be people like OBJ, Julius Peppers, world record holding Olympians. It was absurd. And I was so grateful to be there because it taught me so much. Their whole thing is about having a holistic, integrated approach to human performance. The 4 pillars that they consider key to the performance of their athletes are these things: mindset, movement, nutrition, and recovery. The way they look at it, mindset is about dedicating yourself to a goal and understanding what it requires to accomplish it. Movement is essential to performance. It's about moving your body better. Nutrition fuels the brain and body, providing foundational support to maximize performance. And recovery allows the mind and body to recharge and prepare for the next day's activities. Those 4 things are the things that they encompass all of their programs with. And in their facilities, they have full teams that are dedicated to these things: health fitness specialists, performance coaches, physical therapists, registered dietitians, cognitive and behavioral psychologists. They really look at it as like it needs to be a 360-degree approach to allow us to continue performing over time. And because every single human being is different, every program that they create is tailored to that individual's needs. And because of that, they're the best in the world at it. They crank out the best athletes. They help create the highest performing individuals. And to me, it's not a surprise. Like, I went there, I was like, this place is absurd. It's incredible. I feel better in every facet of my life after being here. And I got to train there for 6 years, and I owe a fuck ton of my own understanding of my performance and how to reach it to EXOS. Now, how does that translate to creators? Because creators aren't going and tackling people or body checking people into the boards for their performance. It's a different kind of skill set. I look at the 4 pillars a little bit differently, but the goal is still the same. It's understanding yourself and placing strategic parameters around the process so that if it's done consistently and with intention, it creates an opportunity for positive results. So as I was sitting there and I was going through my own version of challenge or struggle or creative burnout with my content, I started to think about the way that I trained at EXOS and the way that those 4 pillars had impacted my life. And it just clicked for me, wait a minute, creators have 4 pillars as well. And these directly relate to the way that you continue to create for a long period of time. So for creators, the Barnett version is mindset, creation, discovery, recovery. These are things that I think every creator can look at and put into these buckets. And if you take care of these 4 things, you as a creator will be able to create in a healthy and enjoyable way for a long period of time. Because the goal, as much as everybody wants to go viral and build a big business, you want to be able to enjoy it. If any 4 of these things are not working, you're not going to be enjoying it. you have to take care of these 4 things: mindset, creation, discovery, recovery. Mindset as a creator is your perspective and your why. It's why are you doing it? What is the intention behind what you are setting out to do? You have to have the right mindset, and it's not like a grind set where it's 24/7, go, go. No, part of mindset for me is like being mindful enough to feel different feelings, to sit with emotions. But you have to be mindful of, why am I doing this? Who am I doing it for? How am I gonna get there? What is my role in it? How do I view myself? How do I look at others? It's also, how do I look at monetization? How can I turn this into a business? The real like strategy and mindset around you building yourself as a creator. It's both you as a human and you as a business. And so you have to have that proper mindset to know the way you're going to execute on everything that you're going into. Creation is the act of bringing something into existence. It's doing the work and putting in the reps. As an athlete with movement, if you're not moving your body, you can't expect to perform in a game. As a creator, if you're not constantly creating different things, there's no way that you're gonna be able to sustain yourself as a creator for a career. Now, the funny thing about creation is it doesn't have to be creation with the goal of monetization. It could just be creating just to create. That could be painting. That could be creating a website. That could be creating a fort out of blankets in your house. It's taking something that wasn't there and bringing it into existence. And I actually think like a big part of creation for me is fun and enjoyment. And so the creation doesn't need to be doing something transactionally, but it needs to be the action of bringing forth something. And that is something that I feel like all elite creators will continue to do forever, periodically, will be continuing to create and indulge in the creative process. Discovery is how you add fuel to your fire. For me as an athlete with nutrition, if my goal is to be out there on the field or on the ice, moving and doing my thing as an athlete, I gotta fuel up. I gotta ingest nutritional, dense food so that I can go out and perform. That's the same thing as a creator. You have to continue being inspired. You have to continue looking for sources of inspiration, discovering new things. That could be learning new subjects or editing styles. That could be reading the newspaper. That could be conversations with a stranger, with a tree, with an animal. It's your version of discovering something that creates a spark within you. And whatever that is, you have to continue doing it periodically to keep ideas and new fuel coming to you. And the last one, recovery. Recovery is just as important for creators as it is for professional athletes. Every creator must learn how to recover. Your recovery is what allows you to continue to thrive creatively. It's the flip side of the coin. Putting out content, the opposite side of that coin is recovering. Now, recovery could look like taking a walk. It could be taking time off. It could be readjusting the format and the style that you're creating with. It could be sitting with emotions. It could be drinking water, or it could be looking over everything that you're putting out and knowing when it's the right time to push pause on something. The recovery portion is how you continue to sustain pace for a long period of time as a creator. So those 4 things are the 4 things that I try to focus on. And I sit and I'm like, why are more people not focusing on this? Because a lot of people just think that there's overnight success and then you make a bag and then you bounce and that's it. But if you really want to be in this game for a long period of time and really actually build, there is going to be an emotional and physical roller coaster that you're gonna have to go through. These 4 things allow you to sustain and endure that roller coaster. And I believe that all elite creators will prioritize these 4 things. And the way you start is just by taking small steps towards it. Try to improve in each of these categories, even just 1%. 1% better on each of them might make you feel a lot better overall. If it's mindset, maybe it's just writing out why you want to be successful as a creator, what your intention is with it. For creation, maybe it's not looking at the views, but just holding yourself to a standard of trying to put out 1 piece of content per week. Just a single piece that feels good to you. For discovery, maybe it's allowing yourself 5 to 10 minutes to read a book that's been on your list of things to read. 5 to 10 minutes a night, purely just to get inspired with no goal other than just to read and just learn and have fun with it. And for recovery, maybe it could be setting a goal of like going to bed an extra 30 minutes early, or going on a walk in the morning, or making it a priority to phone a friend and say what up once a week that you haven't talked to in a minute. Just 1% better in each of those 4 categories. It will go a long way in a world that is trying to speed you up to help you sustain the way that you're moving for a long period of time. This is the way that I treat myself and take care of my own well-being as a creator that's trying to build, not just for the moment, but for the next 50 years. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Please leave me some comments, subscribe to the channel, check out some of the other stuff that I'm doing. I'm here for you, and I appreciate you guys. Much love.